Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome back. Before we start on the year that was, I just want to draw your attention to these two documents. These are the guidelines. Hopefully you will have all seen them before because they were published in the Bare Facts last summer, I think for the BBC Day Special. And we gave them in the middle so that you can pull them out and use them, pass them on, etc., etc. We now have a standalone document, so please take away as many of these as you would like. If we don't have enough, we can make sure that we get enough for tomorrow, so you can take these away, okay? I deliberately asked Vinod, he's in the back there, the document that he used for the guidelines. Hopefully you enjoyed his presentation as much as I did. Yeah. Informative? Yes. Empowering? Yes. It's all in here. So if you or the people in your area are having issues, then please use this document and make sure that you've got the opportunity to allow them to use it, to make sure they're on the best care path for themselves. Does that make sense? The other document I want to share with you is our compendium. Now, this is available in the app. If you haven't already done so, can you please make sure in coffee time today you download the app. We had issues with it yesterday, we've had it fixed overnight, so if you've not already downloaded it, can you make sure that you do that for later on today, please? This is included in the app for free, it's on our website for free, but this is an 80-page booklet, it's our new compendium, it has almost everything you would need in terms of dealing with PVC. It's available usually for £15, but if anybody wants to buy one today in booklet form, then you can get it for a tenner from Alan. Okay, but it's in the app and it's on the website, so I just wanted to share that with you. Right, I was asked to talk about the year that was, and the chief instructed me, as only the chief can do, that I was to provide you with pizzazz and inspiration and fireworks, so that's as close as we're going to get. So, what was the year that was? So we're going to talk about 2017 in terms of the foundation and all of our achievements, but what I'm going to ask you to do first, so this is going to be a quick run around with whoever's got the microphone. David? Here it comes. So what I'm going to ask you to do, and if you want to pass on the mic without saying anything, you're entirely welcome to do so, but I'm going to ask you, what was your biggest achievement of 2017? Now I'm going to ask you to say so just in one sentence, or just in a few words, because we have a lot of people to get round, and it's a tight session. But I also want to qualify this, because when we go around in the workshops and when we deal with people with PVC, sometimes it's said that their greatest achievement is actually getting themselves out of bed in the morning. So it's about your personal markers, it's about where you are and anything that you've achieved that you're particularly happy or proud of, or that you want to share with us that you achieved in 2017. So will we start? Who's closest? Who's got a microphone?
I'll go in here.
Perfect. Chief?
Yes, I have many achievements. My best achievement, I think, is that I was able to share with my fellow PVC friends the things that concerned me, the things that trouble me, and the wonderful feedback I got in return. I took away with me, and I was able to go over it in my mind. Well, that's what I'm suffering. Somebody else is different, it's worse, it's what have you, and it made me feel better. And that was a big achievement because I was a wee bit low for a while. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
I thought she was going to get a rifle notepad out there for the speech. I think for me, as I don't have PVC, it was attending the Strawberry Tea fundraiser and the amazing results we had from that, and just to add on, meeting Colette and joining the board as trustee.
Perfect, thank you very much.
Mine was receiving my second transplant.
I was supporting Mum for a second transplant. This time I was there, last time I was asleep. So.
I think mine was organising a tea party for my 5th transplant anniversary.
Wonderful, well, congratulations. Okay, thank you.
Mine was finally retiring.
Hey,
Yay! Mine was the Bridges Walk with male women.
Of course, yeah, absolutely. Fabulous, thank you.
and becoming a volunteer.
All right, well done, welcome.
Mine was having the balls to quit my job and go do something less stressful.
You ran and completed Tough Mudder.
Okay.
Mine's coming into the office and working with the lovely people there.
Thank you.
Mine was for organising the music festival last year through Foundation.
Well done, thank
Mine was also for helping Wendy organise the music festival. We had a great night.
you. Thank you.
I think I'll just say my PVC day walk, because it went well.
Absolutely well done, thank you.
Getting the Sorry group off the ground.
Wonderful, thank you very much, well done.
Mine's meeting with our group and sharing in all sorts of different ways.
Wonderful, okay. Thank you very much. Well done.
Mine was deciding to make a list every night of what I was going to do the next day, and it actually encouraged me to get up in the morning because I knew what I was going to
Fab, wonderful, well done, okay, thank you.
Something that I want to share with you all, I'm a liver recipient, and being a granny is the best thing ever, so last year my granddaughter was born.
Congratulations.
Our group hosted a ladies' night last year, which was really good. But also, my daughter received a letter from the PBC Foundation. My daughter was 11 at the time, to say that her own fundraising efforts came to £700.
Wow.
And mine was walking the bridges in London to raise funds for PBC Foundation.
Wonderful, thank you very much.
Mine, again, with like Judith and Ulysses, was doing the 25k Bridges Track. It's the first thing I've done like this since I've been diagnosed. You don't want to, but you can't.
It's okay.
But you can't.
give it a cut up.
I'm just going, before we get to Paula, that's such a PBC thing.
Yeah.
When we first started, we did the walk, and then we did the Bridges walk, and then suddenly it comes out it's a 25-mile Bridges walk. And we need, as individuals and as an organisation, to actually say that, you know, what we achieve and how. So thank God you added that, so thank you very much, I appreciate that, thank you. Okay, Paul.
Being well enough to look after my mother who nearly died before Christmas.
Oh gosh, okay, so, thank you.
Still being able to arrange meetings of our support group with Paula.
Fantastic, thank you very much.
My last year's greatest was celebrating my aunt's 101st birthday.
Wow, wonderful.
And she lives in Portsoy. And I'm hoping to see her next week.
Fabulous, wonderful, thank you very much.
I would say 3 meetings for the first time. Those were my first 3 meetings, and then the 27-mile walk I did for PBC Day.
Okay, well done, thank you.
Mine's just supporting my wife.
There's no just, thank you.
Mine was undertaking something I'd wanted to do for a while, and that was to walk the Tay Bridge. It was unfortunate that the only 2 of us there was myself and Anne-Marie. We didn't have any support, which was a bit disappointing, but there you are.
You did it, so thank you very much, well done.
Excuse me, I supported you. I wore my t-shirt, and it was lovely.
Oh, I should add that we had a photograph taken which has appeared on the Facebook page, and it was taken by a couple from Larne in Northern Ireland.
Wow, okay.
And it just so happened that his grandfather was in the Royal Infirmary in Edinburgh awaiting a liver transplant because he's got PBC.
Wow. Thank you.
Sometimes it's just getting up in the morning.
Yeah, absolutely, no, we understand.
Meeting new PBCers and taking the worry out of PBC.
Okay.
I've seen them change from diagnosis to help them and saying you can live with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Finally reaching retirement age. Oh, the only I was looking forward to the next 65 years. see how I get on then.
Fabulous. Congratulations. Thank you.
For me, just surviving the year because I had quite a period of ill health.
Well done. Thank you.
For me, my granddaughter graduated from university as a law student.
Wonderful. Congratulations.
For me, it was walking 18 miles with Miriam and Jeff and actually completing it.
And Buddy.
Buddy Foundation.
Well done.
So mine was having the courage to take voluntary redundancy. PBC was a big fear, and that really wanted to make me stay with the company because they were going to look after me. So a bit of a pep talk with Robert, and I decided to put my form in, and I was successful. So I've got another one as well. More bridges. I had the opportunity to walk across the new Queen's Ferry crossing. It was only open to the public one weekend, and I was picked. So I turned it into a fundraising opportunity for the PBC Foundation and raised almost £900.
Well done.
The highlight of my 2017 was to start my new job at the PBC Foundation.
Well done. If you, yeah, absolutely. If you anything to say.
Well, I'd say I have a 2018 achievement, which was to get out of an IT job and actually do something which makes a difference and help people and spend time with all of you, so thank you.
Thank you very much.
You too, David.
Me?
Yes.
My greatest achievement is still being alive working with Colette in 2017.
And there's something else that David and I have in common. So, okay, thank you very much. A wonderful read. So, thank you very much for sharing that. And hopefully that will start to show each other who we are as individuals and how much we can achieve when we come together and as a collective. So I'm going to talk to you a little about what we've achieved as an organisation, and you are absolutely part of that as we go through the slides. So I'm not going to talk about the fact that the website is in 19 languages, because that's just what we do. I'm not going to talk about the patients' conferences, because every year that's what we do. I'm not going to talk about the self-management workshops, because again, this is what we do year in, year out. The mini workshops we held in Northern Ireland and Wales, it's what we do. The pop-ups, again, staff going around, meeting as many of our issues as possible and making sure that we break isolation is a huge part of what we do. And those are the things that we do each year, year upon year, with the financial support that you provide, and no pressure, Natasha, that you will be providing as well. So we're supporting you in that. So we want to look at some of the special achievements that we had throughout 2017. So the first one is our compendium. So you've seen the compendium. If anyone's read it, well done. It's a huge, huge weighty document, 80 pages long. And what we're trying to do was look at the physical, the clinical, also to look at the emotional, the psychological, but also the legal aspects of living with PBC. So looking at Disability Discrimination Act, or the Equality Act as it is now, making sure that people with PBC know the rights. So that booklet is there. And it's something we put together with our Medical Advisory Board, and it's something we're very proud of. So please, again, encourage people in your area to use it.
Can I just say, the rainbow is ours, okay? That's our rainbow, folks. The PBC rainbow belongs to us.
Thank you. The guidelines. You might have heard about these. Again, we are immensely proud of these. I think there's a couple of things, and Vito highlighted this earlier. The fact that the EASL guidelines, for the first thing that we are aware of, has incorporated the patient voice into the guidelines on clinical best practice. And that is absolutely huge. We have other disease areas now, not only in livers, but in other rare diseases that are using that as an example of best practice to try and strengthen their own patient voice in their other disease areas. So that's something that we've really set aside. And the other thing is that, again, in the guidelines, the recommendation is that every single PBC patient in Europe is signposted to a patient support organisation. And the mere fact that you're here today tells us how powerful that is and how important that is. So those are two huge things that we want to share with you. Next thing are the leaflets. Now, the eagle-eyed among you will notice that these are the old leaflets that have the old address, but we now have new leaflets that have been rewritten. So they now incorporate the second-line therapies, which again you know to be obeticholic acid, and they have a new address on them as well. So please, again, shameless plug. These are all available, so please take them away, share them with everyone who attends your meeting, share them with everyone that you come across, and make sure that we get as much information out there as possible. So please, please, please do take those away. Next up is our app. Before we had the plug, did anybody download the app? A few shows of hands, fantastic. Okay, next question. Who uses the app? Good, good. Okay, so we have a number of things that we want to highlight, and that is the compendium is in there, and it's absolutely free. It's available to every single person who downloads the app. You have to be registered with the foundation to be able to download the app, but that's to ensure that everyone who accesses it does have PBC or is interested in the foundation. The other things that we're very proud of, liver test recording. So the idea is that over time, you're able to monitor what your liver biochemistry levels are. So again, it's about you owning your condition, making sure you're as informed as possible, and making sure that your interaction with your own clinician, you're engaged, you're informed, and you can be helped be part of the decision-making process. And that's hugely important. Now, George Mills is here, and he's going to be talking just after this session, but one of the questions that George asked us through the year is, can we get more patients bringing the app in to a clinical appointment and saying, this is how I am, this is where I am, where do we go from here? So again, we're giving you this information to ask you, A, to use it yourselves, B, to promote it as best practice, and to make sure that all the people in your area also have the app. Now, if you're having difficulty signing in either to the website or to the app, your username is first name, last name. But please don't type first name, last name. Okay, this is your first name and your last name. But please note, capital letters and no space. Okay, so that will be your individual username. Thereafter, everybody has the same password. Now, PowerPoint is automatically correcting my A to make it a capital. It's small case a. So thank you to autocorrect for making that wrong. So it's all small case, autoimmune, with an exclamation mark. Now the reason we have the password in there is because if you've been in the member section of the website, you probably will have seen some of the videos that we had incorporating a documentary called The Young Ones. Now that is under license, and it's about self-management, emotional, psychological and physical self-management. But for us to be able to use that, it has to be not available to the public. So we have to keep it only for our RSUs, and that's why there's a password on there. But it's one password, all small case, autoimmune exclamation mark. So when we're talking about our achievements as well, it's not just us as a foundation, but also us as our community. So this is a huge slide, and this highlights the work of the PBC Pan-European Network. So this is organisations that you will see from Austria, you'll see the Netherlands, you'll see Portugal, you'll actually see Canada and the USA up there as well. Because this has a huge impact. So this is the work of the network on PBCD, in and around PBCD. Now if you look at the far right hand side of the screen, you will see that the American Liver Foundation, so that's the biggest single organisation in terms of American liver patient support, managed to raise $381, which is nothing to be sniffed at. But then, if I share with you what we, as an organisation, and then you, as a network, managed to produce on PBCD. So, we had almost 50 events around the world. We actually had PBCD events in both Israel and Lebanon. Now, we can't even get governments to achieve that. So that is a huge testament to what we do as a network. We had events in Australia, we had Uganda, we supported events in the US as well. So it is truly international, it is truly global. Now we heard some of the events that you did in and around PBCD. Together, collectively, we pulled in almost £36,000. And from that, on behalf of all the staff who go out and spend your money doing what we do, providing the support that we do for that from us personally and from the depths of everything. Thank you so much for what you do. We know, we heard some of the stories, we saw some of the pictures, we saw some of the frankly exhausted faces, and it touched every single one of us. I say every single year, with everything I am, that you're an inspiration, and you really, truly are. So for that, thank you very much. Approximately 219 PBC Day 2017 mentions, and 70 plus tweets, and then Facebook posts, photos, videos, etc. So everything for that, we thank you. Next up, NICE. George, what does NICE stand for? Someday. So the National Institute of Clinical Excellence, and the SMC, which is the Scottish Medicines Council. These were the bodies that are trusted by our government to look at new medications, to check that they are safe and functional, but they're also that they are value for money. Thanks to the patient voice advocacy, both NICE and SMC agreed on the first time of asking that OCA was effective, but also that it represented true value for money for the NHS. Now that means a number of things. It means that people now who are non-URSO responders have a new licensed therapy, which is fantastic. That's absolutely huge. It's the first new therapy in PBC for 20 years, which is great. But it also means that obeticholic acid has a ring-fenced financial support. So yes, it's expensive, but NICE and SMC have agreed that it's not too expensive. And this is important for you to take away. So when you encounter in your own journey, or in the people that are in your area, if they encounter a doctor who says, I'm not going to give you OCA because it's too expensive, well, that's not the case. So it's important that you know that, and you appreciate that, yes, it's licensed, but yes, financially it's ring-fenced and it's supported by both NHS in England, Northern Ireland, Wales and Scotland. Okay, now if anyone's taking pictures of slides, I cannot share this slide with you. It's for internal purposes only, okay, so it's confidential. So last year, those of you who were here last year will remember you did the patient survey, which was designed by us and Intercept together. We also did another survey which we did with Novartis. And we're looking at the patient experience, because we need to use what's happening to patients every single day with PBC to push for better practice. Okay, so one of the things that we asked, and Vera and I are working on this, and we're going to submit this to the American Association for Study of Liver Disease, and we're looking to do a scientific paper in a poster form that shares this information. So we can't share it externally, this is purely for internal purposes. But we asked 3 questions. The first question, accessing PBC Foundation services helped you better manage your symptoms, and you were given the opportunity to strongly agree, agree, disagree, or strongly disagree. And on that question, 88% of respondees, so this is of over 600 respondees, either agreed or strongly agreed with that statement, which is fantastic. It's telling us that we're doing the right things and that we're reaching people. The second question, accessing the PBC Foundations make you more informed and help you make more informed decisions about your PBC and its treatment. 89% either strongly agreed or agreed. And hopefully you can see that these are fantastic figures and that we're reaching the right people. And the last question was, accessing the PBC Foundation services makes you feel less alone. And almost 50% strongly agreed with that alone. And the total figure that either agreed or strongly agreed was 92%. So it lets you see what we do as a collective, what we do as a team, and what you bring to our organisation. I just wanted to share some of that with you. The last thing I want to share with you is nurses in practice. This is our opportunity to get out there and talk to frontline nurses and just talk to them about PBC, talk to them about best practice, talk to them about the new therapies, talk to them about the guidelines. And so they use that as an opportunity for them to learn and for them to share the information that we have. So that's a little of what we've achieved in 2017. On that note, I thank you for your attention, and do you have any questions?